Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to World War II Solitaire board game channel. We're gonna keep the party going with the USS Laffey, the ship that would not die. We have played the ensign level variation and we have played the lieutenant level variation. So now we're gonna play the commander level, and that is basically, it's the base game as explained in rules. So the differences here are that, first of all, we're not going to use the course airplane that's going to take out these shamrock planes. We're going to start on 4 supply, in difference to the lieutenant level where we start with 1 supply. And then, as you might have noticed, on the ensign level and the lieutenant level, you will always start with this itchy plane, the first plane. But when you play the commander level, you're gonna go ahead and roll a d10 to see which is gonna be the starting plane. So that's what we're gonna do right now. And we roll a 7. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is gonna be the starting plane. So we'll do a circle around that plane to show that that is our starting plane. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. Okay, so we'll start as usual by placing out our damage control teams. And I like to keep going this clear the skies as long as it's possible. But as fires will spread and leaks, you're gonna have to abandon that tactic. Let's see. I want to go ahead and use the other one to lock one of my d10s to a 1. And then we're going to go ahead and roll for the attack. The attack is going to be on the left side of the ship. It's going to be 2 fires and 1 debris. And we roll a 3. So we have the magazine and ammunition has been hit. So the first hit is going to be the fire hit. And I'm going to assign that to the magazine and ammunition. And then we also have the debris. And I am going to go ahead and hit the magazine and ammunition with the debris as well. Because I want to go ahead and place the next fire in the propeller room. As that's a safer place for me to have a fire. Since it can go up and it will not explode. And we'll mark off the pips as they are being placed out. Okay, so now it's my turn to roll. And I get 2 threes. Not really what I want right now. I would like some 2s to stop that fire. And we get 4 4s instead, or 2 4s instead. And the question is, I could go ahead and re-roll one of them and hope for a 1 or a 4. And I think that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a chance and I get another 4. Okay, so we have a roll of 1, and we're going to go ahead and use that as a wild and turn it into a 2. And then with that 2, I'm going to go ahead and put out the fire in the magazines and ammunition. Then I have 3 wrenches, and they are wasted because I have no active leaks anywhere on the ship. We have 2 AA, and those are effectively going to take out the next kamikaze plane coming my way. And then we have a glance, and the glance, as you know, will do nothing. Okay, so then we will go to phase 5, leak spreads, but we have no active leaks. And phase 6, fire spreads. So unfortunately we do have a fire, and the fire will always spread upwards. So it's spreading to the magazine and ammunitions compartment. And that is the end of the turn. Before we go on, let's see. I was hit on the magazine and ammunition. So you should also put the red cube there to remember the penalty. And the penalty is that I cannot use 5s. And you might remember I did not use any 5s. I used a 1 to turn into a 2. I had some wrenches which were wasted, and I had 2 4s. Then I believe I also had a glance a 6. So I didn't break any rules there, but yeah, don't forget about the penalty. That's an easy mistake to make. Okay, so I'll remove my cubes and I will put my mini here on the deck or on the bridge to remember that I've used bridge action last turn. You cannot use that 2 times in a row. Okay, so let's see what I want to do now. We are going to have another fire. I'm going to go ahead and put out the fire here. So I put my cube here on the engine room, effectively putting out the fire in the propeller room. And then I am going to go ahead and use clear skies, letting me mark off 2 stars from the clear skies cell. And we'll see where the next attack is coming. It's coming in number 1. And it's going to be 2 debris, 1 fire. Okay, so we put, let's see. We want the first debris over here. And then we also want the fire over there, because if it turns into an explosion, it's going to have only one place to actually spread to, the explosion that is. And then we have 1 debris, and that's going to go to the rudder. So you can place these out as you want with 1 adjacent compartment, but it has to be, if there's an uneven amount of pips to deal out, the majority of pips, damage pips, has to go to the targeted compartment. And we also have a penalty here, which is a leak. And the leak we're gonna go ahead and put also in the stern. So now we have an active leak and an active fire, so that's not very good. And we are in the, let's see, we're in the rudder, so our damage control team there is safe. I'm gonna go ahead now and put the red D10 there to remember the next turn we're not actually gonna have a kamikaze attack, since we have a full cell of clear skies, which is a bridge action. And we'll roll our D10. And let's see, we get some good results here. I like the 1s, and I need that 2. And a 4 is always appreciated. And the other ones we need to reroll because those are not good. I'll take that 5. And the 9 I want to get rid of. And the 9 turns into a 5. That's perfect. Okay, so let's see. The 1s I am going to turn into 5s as well. Or actually, one of them I'm going to turn into a wrench, because I need to get rid of that leak we have. Okay, so the hose, the number 2, will put out the fire in the stern. And then the wrench, we're going to stop the leak in the stern. And then the AA targets the next plane with 1 shot. And then we have the 5-inch gun. We can choose any aircraft we want except the 2 KT planes. And it will target 2 adjacent planes. And we're going to go ahead and just move on to the next targets. So let's see what we want to do. We'll start here. So 1, 2, 3 hits. And that is the end of that turn. We'll remove our blocks. And we have a new turn now. There's not going to be any leak spread or fire spread, by the way, because we have no active leaks or active fires. So my damage control team is going to go, one of them is going to go to the clear skies again, marking off 2 stars. And the other guy is going to go ahead and, let's see what I want to do. Either use the red die or lock one of my die to a 4. That's always good. I think I'm going to go ahead and lock one of my D10 to a 4. Yeah. And then I'll take away this turn. We will not attack with the kamikaze, and because we have a clear sky cell, so we mark off 1 clear sky cell as it's been used. And we roll our D10. And we're looking for 5s and 1s and 4s. And 7, 8s, and 9s cannot hurt us this turn, since we have had no kamikaze attacks. But 0s can still, 10 rolls can still hurt us. And that's exactly what we got. Okay, so first of all, we have a bridge action. I'm going to go ahead and turn that into a 4. So that means we have 3, 4, so 3 AA attacks. So the first 2 attacks, bam, bam, takes out the next incoming kamikaze plane. Then we have another one, and it takes off 1 pip of the next one. We have 2 5-inch guns. We're going to go ahead and attack these 2 planes. So 1, 1. And then unfortunately we do have an explosion. And the explosion is for us to choose where it's going to be happening. And I am going to go ahead and be brave and choose the stern, as that means it would only spread to the rudder. But I have a damage control team there, and I'm going to choose to stop that explosion by paying paying a supply. So I'm down to 3 supplies now. Alright, so that is the end of that turn. And we'll go now to the next turn. So far looking good. I'm gonna keep spamming some clear skies. Put my naval control team there on the bridge to lock a 1. And the next attack is gonna be now on the right side. It's gonna be an explosion, as you can see. And we get 4. So the attack is gonna happening in the storage. So the penalty is I lose 2 supplies. So I go from 3 supplies to 1 supply. And then we have an explosion. So the explosion does a debris in the targeted compartment and all of the adjacent ones. So it's interesting because it does a lot of damage. But sometimes an explosion can actually be nice because you don't have to worry about fixing it like a leak or an active fire. And we're going to put that there because we have, again, a clear skies cell fully filled. So next turn we're not going to have a Japanese attack. And roll our D10. And I mean, this is a pretty strange roll. Lots of 2s and 3 and an explosion. And we're going to go with all of those since we just want to get rid of all the bad ones that can potentially hurt us. The 7s, the 8s, the 9s, and the 10s. So every roll has a 40% chance to keep hurting us. So our own dice are not very good during these attacking turns. Okay, so the bridge action, I'm going to go ahead and turn that into a 5. And the hoses here, they are ignored. We have no active fire. The wrench is also ignored. We have no active leak. Then we have 2 5-inch guns. We're going to go ahead and keep targeting... let's see, this time I think we're going to go ahead and target these 2 instead. So 1, 2. And that leads us to the next turn. And I'll just put my mini there to remember I can't use that 1 again. I'm going to go ahead and keep spamming the clear skies. As long as everything is under control, that's something you can do. And I'm going to go ahead this time, I think, and lock... I'm going to use the red die. I think that's quite powerful. So I lock my damage control team to the communication center and the rudder. And I'll remove this red die, which is resting on the rising sun, indicating I have a clear skies cell fully filled, and I cross out that filled clear skies. Let's see. Okay, so I will roll the red one now, since I have a damage control team occupying the communication center. And on the red die, you will always ignore result 9 to 10. Let's see, the 4 is good. But the rest of them is nothing I want. So I am going to go ahead and reroll. Remember, you can reroll 2 times. Okay, that's another 4. And then we have a 1. And we have a lot of 0s. And those are actually the only ones that can hurt us now. So we don't want those. Oh, look at that. Okay, a 1 and a 2. A 1 and a 2. Okay, so this is interesting. So let's check this out. So first of all, the 1s, we're going to go ahead and turn those into... one of them into a 4 and the other one into a 5. The hose is ignored. We have no active fire. The AA, we have a total of 3 shots. So 1, we effectively take out the next. Or actually that one, I think we just forgot to mark that one. That was the explosion happening in the storage. So we'll do like this instead. Turn this into a 5-inch. Okay, so the next 4 is bringing down this plane, not that one. And the next 4 is taking away 1 damage pip from the coming plane. And then we have the 5-inch gun again, and I'm going to go ahead and choose these 2 for attacking. So 1, 2. And that's 2 hits. Then we have 2 explosions here. And first of all, the red one will be ignored, because again, with the red dice you will always ignore result 9 to 10. However, the yellow one we cannot ignore. We get to choose the location of the explosion. And I think, let's see what I want to go with. I am gonna go with the stern again, I think. I want to, yeah. I could choose the crew quarters. That would only be 4 places for the explosion. The stern, it has taken quite a lot of damage. Okay, I am gonna go ahead and choose the stern. And then the rudder. I'm not gonna stop that explosion with my damage control team. I want to save my 1 supply for emergencies. Okay, so that is the end of that turn. We will not do any leak spread or fire spread since we have no active leaks or fires. Okay, so keep on spamming the clear skies. And we're gonna lock 1d10 to 1. And now we're gonna do attack on the left side of the ship with a fire attack. And we roll a 1. So that's not good. Okay, so we have a fire, an active fire. And then we also have the penalty is a leak. And the leak, fortunately, we can put in an adjacent compartment. So we'll do that. But we're starting to be in trouble here because remember that if 2 compartments are completely filled, you lose the game. Alright, so we have a 1 and we're going to put that there to remember next turn. Again, we have a filled clear skies. Alright, so let's roll our d10. And let's hope for some nice results now, because we really cannot take more more damage in those compartments. So we have an 8 that we definitely want to get rid of. Turns into a 9. Turns into a 5. Very good. Lucky. Okay, so one of the ones I'm going to use as a wild turn into a hose so we can put out that fire. The other one I am going to go ahead and turn into, let's see, 5-inch gun. Okay, so the first one, which is used as a wild and turned into a 2, a hose. We're going to go ahead and put out that fire in the stern. And the wrench, we're going to go ahead and put fix the leak in the rudder. Then we have 3 5-inch gun shots. And we're going to go ahead and target. Let's see who we want to target. I want to go ahead and target these 2 guys. So 1, 2, 3. And then we have a glance, and the glances don't do anything, as you know. So that is the end of the turn. Since we will not do any leak spread or fire spread, we have no active fires or active leaks on our ship currently. Alright, so for next turn, you guessed right, we're gonna keep spamming clear skies. So very powerful action, and we're gonna go ahead and lock our damage control team to the communication center so we can roll the red d10. Removing this, we're not gonna do an attack, so we clear off one of the cells of clear skies, and we're gonna go ahead and roll. See if we get something nice. You know, we're looking for 1s, 5s, and and 4s. And we really want to avoid 10s. One last reroll. So it's not looking too great. Could definitely be better. Okay, so at least we did not get any 10s, but I could have done with some more AA. Okay, so the ones, let's see, one of them we're going to turn into a 4, and one of them we're going to turn into a 5. The 3 is ignored. We have no active leak. The 1 AA, we're going to go ahead and take one shot at the next coming kamikaze plane. And then we have 3 5s. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and move forward. Keep clearing these planes. And I think we're going to go ahead, let's 3 of them. Okay, so we'll target these. So, or should I target perhaps that? I think I target that one. That has 2 explosions that can do quite a lot of damage if it happens in the stern, for example. So we're going to do, let's see, 1, 2, 3 hits. Then we have a glance, which will do nothing. And we have a leak, but it will not do anything since we have no active attack this turn. And we go to the next turn, and we keep spamming clear skies. And we will use the bridge action. So we'll lock D10 to 1. Alright, so let's see where the attack happens. It happens again on the left side. It's going to be D10. Let's hope it's not going to hit 1 or 2, because it's going to be an explosion. Ooh, it hits the fuel tanks. And that's pretty bad for us. First of all, because it's going to be a big explosion. So fuel tanks and all its adjacent compartments get 1 hit. So the fuel tanks, forward fire room, the crew quarters, and aft fire room. And then on top of that, the penalty for getting a hit on the fuel tanks is one of your D10 will be locked to a 0. There's only one way around that, and that is actually locking one of your damage control teams before the attack happens to the radar, which lets you reroll 1 time 1 final die, and it even lets you reroll locked once. So that's the only way to save you from that penalty there. Okay, so again we're gonna go ahead and place this on the rising sun to remember that we will not have an attack next turn. And now we're gonna go ahead and reroll, because we don't want those explosions. There's enough with 1 explosion. And we have a 2. So we'll be happy with that. We're gonna go ahead and turn these 2s into 5s. So the hose is ignored as the wrench. We have no active fires or leaks. 5-inch gun, we're gonna go ahead and move up now. Target these 2 guys. So 1, 2. It's 2 hits. And the glance do nothing, but the explosions do. So we can choose an adjacent, or we can choose the target we had, and I think we're going to choose an adjacent. We're going to have the explosion in the forward fire room. Or, let's see, for fire room. Yeah, okay, so you can actually, with the roll of 10, you can choose any damage compartment on the whole ship. So I could choose the crew quarters, the stern, whatever. We're going to go with the forward fire room. And the explosion, as you know, will spread the radar room, the crew quarters, and the fuel tanks. And that is the end of that turn. Okay, so this time you guessed it right, we're going to keep going with the clear skies. As long as the situation is under control, you can do that. When fire starts to spread and leak starts to spread, you have to give up on the clear skies, I'm afraid. We're going to go ahead and use the red D10 as well. Yeah. Let's see, the next one is going to be... Okay, so we forgot to... Or did we do that? No. Let's see, it hit what? Okay, so we did do that, right? Yeah, it hit the fuel tanks. So the next one is that one. And we are not going to face that one since we have the clear skies. So we'll mark off a cell. And we will go ahead and roll our D10 plus the red one since I'm stationed in the communication center. Okay, so a lot of ugly things here. Don't like that roll at all. We need 1s, 4s, and 5s. At least 1 4 and 1 5. One last chance. Ooh, we got another explosion here on our hands. Quite unlucky with those explosion rolls in this one. Okay, so first of all, the 1 we're going to go ahead and turn into a 5. The wrench is ignored. The AA gives 1 hit to the next coming plane. The 5-inch gun, we are going to go ahead and target these 2 planes. So 1, 2. And then we have 2 glances. And unfortunately, we do have an explosion. And this time I am going to go ahead and choose the crew quarters. So the crew quarters takes a hit, the bow, the magazine and ammunition, and the storage. And that is the end of that turn. Okay, keep spamming that clear skies. And we're going to lock one of our D10 to a 1. That is also locking your dice to 1s and 4s. That is a very effective way of removing the risk of rolling your D10 during a plane attack, because they can, effectively become a leak or a fire or an explosion. And by locking them to a 1 or a 4, you eliminate that risk. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and see where the next attack is going to happen. It's going to be an explosion, and it's going to be again on the left 1, so we don't want it on 1 or 2. Oh, look at that. Happened right where we don't want it to happen. I also see we have a fire here, and I missed that. So that is very bad. Let's see, a 2. So that's, first of all, that's an explosion. So it happens in the stern. It happens in the rudder. And then it happens in the magazine and ammunition and the propeller room. And just because I missed this fire, which I'm going to have to deal with now, I'm going to give myself a penalty. I will say that the fire has exploded, which it will do. And when it explodes, it goes to become an explosion and explodes to all adjacent compartments. And by doing that, it also snuffs itself out. So that's effectively what happens when you don't deal with a fire that will explode. It becomes an explosion. So that's exactly what happened, or would have happened if I had saw that in time. Anyway, we have, let's see, we rolled a 2, right? And we did the explosion. And the 2, I have a soldier there, or a damage control team there, so he's going to the dressing station where he will have to stay the next turn. He's hit. And let's see, the penalty is removing 2 clear skies here. So if you get hit there on the 2, I've had that happen about 3 times in a game, so I lost a lot of these clear sky boxes. Okay, and then it's our turn to roll. And not exactly what I was looking for. 6s. But it is what it is. Okay, so that's a little bit better. Still want to get rid of the 7. And we got a 7. Okay, so with the bridge action, we're going to go ahead and turn into a 4. The hose is wasted. We have no active fire. The wrench is wasted. We have no active leak. The 4 is turning into, the 1 turns into a 4, and we take, let's see, we take 1 hit here on the next plane coming. This was the one coming now, which gave us an explosion in the rudder. Then we have a 5-inch gun, and we're going to go ahead and target this plane. Bam. 1 glance, it doesn't do anything, and then we have a leak. And the leak we're going to go ahead and place in the magazine and ammunitions quarter. And then we go to phase 5, leak spreads. So unfortunately that leak spreads downward to the propeller room. So that is the end of that turn. And since I had, since my damage control team were hit last turn, I cannot use the damage control team for this turn. So I am gonna go ahead and I'm gonna fix a leak immediately. So I'll fix up, let's see, the one here in the propeller room, as that will spread. Since it cannot go down, it will spread to the 2 adjacent zones. And we're not going to roll for the Japanese attack. So we cross off that cell, and then we roll our D10. So the 4 is good. The 1s we're going to save. Let's see, the 4 is going to go ahead and take out the next plane. Oh, it is what it is. More 1s. And the 3, that's exactly what we need. Okay, so let's see what we want to do with these 1s. I think we're actually going to go ahead and turn them into 4s, all of them. So the 3, the wrench, we're going to go ahead and take care of that magazine and ammunitions leak. Whoops. And then we have, as you can see, a bunch of 4s. Sorry, that should be a 1. So 5 hits. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 3 planes we just taken down in one salvo. So next one is going to be one coming on the right side. That's where we need more attacks now, because we have taken quite a beating on the left side. And that is the end of that turn. We go to the next turn. Clear skies. Gotta keep it going for at least this box, and then we want to lock one of our D10 to a 1. And we're gonna roll for the kamikaze attack. It's gonna happen on the right side. It's gonna be an explosion, and it happens in 1. Okay, so first of all, let's do the explosion and mark off that explosion. And then we have a penalty, which is a leak, and we're gonna go ahead and put that leak in the boat. And let's see, we have a filled cell, so we're gonna go ahead and roll our D10. And okay, so 6s, we'll save those. A 5, okay, and a 2, and we want to get rid of that 10. Explosion turns into a fire and turns into a wrench. Perfect. All right, so we want to turn the 1 into the 5-inch gun. The hose is ignored. We have no active fire. The wrench, we're going to use that to fix the leak in the bow. The 5-inch gun, we have 2 shots with that one. We're going to go ahead and fire, let's see, at these 2 planes. 1, 2. And then we have 2 glances, and they do nothing. So that is the end of that turn. Next turn, we keep spamming clear skies. You know the deal. 1, 2, and we will lock 1, or sorry, we will use the red die. Remove this one. No kamikaze attack. So mark off that clear sky cell. And we're going to go ahead and roll RD10 and the red one. Oops. Okay, so we get 1, 1, 1, 5. Another 5, 2 4s. And 2 8s. Okay, so the 1, we're gonna go ahead and turn that into 4, definitely. The 5s will stay with that. Okay, so the 1s we have, the 4s, we have 3 of those. So 1, effectively taking that one out. 2, effectively taking that one out, and the last one, bam. So they did quite a lot of damage. Then we have the 5-inch gun. And we're gonna go ahead and hit, let's see, these two guys with that. 1, 2. And then the leaks, they're not gonna happen since we did not have an attack for this turn. Okay, so we'll start over. And I will do clear skies, even though that's going to be 1 star wasted. And I will lock 1 d10 to a 1, which is the bridge. So let's mark off those stars. And let's see where the attack happens. It's going to be on the left side, and it's going to be an explosion. It's going to be a leak. So we don't want that to happen in 2 or 1, because that is going to be almost ending the game. As you can see, we have only 1 damage people left in the stern, 3 left in the rudder. Ooh, 8. Okay, we'll take that. So first of all, we have an explosion. We're going to head and put the explosion in the engine room itself, I guess. Let's see. That is going to be the best place for it to happen. So engine room, propeller room, magazine and ammunition, crew quarters, battle, dressing station, and aft fire room. And then we have the leak, and we're going to go ahead and put the leak in the battle dressing station. And let's see, the penalty from getting hit in the engine room is a fire. Okay, so the fire, we're going to go ahead and put that in the engine room as well. And it is our time to roll. So 2 1s, obviously we're going to save those. 3, 2 8s, we don't want those. Another 1, and then we have a 9. Let's try to get rid of that. Turns into an explosion. Okay, so the 1s, let's see what we want to turn those into. Let's do the 5-inch gun. All of them. The wrench, we're going to go ahead and use that. Sorry, one of the ones we're turning into hose. So the wrench, we're going to go ahead and use that, or the hose first of all, to repair the fire in the engine room, or put out the fire in the engine room. The wrench, we're going to go ahead and fix the leak in the battle dressing station. The 5-inch guns, we have 3 hits. We're going to go ahead and target these 2 guys. So 1, 2, 3. Then unfortunately we do have an explosion, and we can choose where that's going to happen. And I think I shall choose, man, we're really getting some damage here on our ship. I'm going to choose the crew quarters. I think, yeah, seems like the smartest move. Crew quarters have an explosion, which spreads the radar, the communication center, and the storage. See, no active fires or leaks. I kind of sad that I left that fired. I forgot about that, but well, I did the damage that it would have done, so it's really not even cheating. Okay, so we go to the next turn, and sorry, that should stay there. And our damage control teams, I think actually I'm gonna keep doing that clear skies. I usually don't, but because I wasted 1 star there, I think that's a good way to go. So I'm gonna cross off 2 of these stars, and the 8, we're not gonna roll that, or the red d10. We will mark off one of the cells, and we will roll our d10 and the red one. See, none of these are good. Not even one of them. Okay, so we want 1s, 3s, and 5s. Okay, so we got 1 1s. 1, 1. And then we got 4s. And 1 last reroll. Okay. So the 1s, we're gonna go ahead and turn 1 of them into a 4 and 1 of them into a 5. So the first, we have 3 4s, and they will effectively, let's see, take down these 2 planes. And the next one is gonna do 1 hit on this guy. And then we have a 5-inch gun. We're gonna go ahead and fire that one. Let's see. Gonna go ahead and fire that one at this plane. And then we have a leak. Ignore that since there was no kamikaze attack. The same goes for the fires. And we go to the next turn. So last time we are spamming clear skies. And we're locking one of our D10 to 1. The attack is going to be on the left side. Is going to be a leak in 4. That's good. Because I don't want it to happen in 1 or 2. So we have a leak in the crew quarters. And the penalty is that I get to roll 1 less D10. And I actually don't even think that's a penalty because I kind of want to get rid of the D10s during the plane attacks since they can effectively hurt me. Okay, so let's roll our D10. And that was a good roll. 2 and 3 trees and 1. So the ones we're going to go ahead and first of all we're going to cross out the attack that just happened. And the ones I think we're going to turn into 5s. The hose is wasted. We have no active fire. The wrench is going to fix... Sorry, that should be black. Should fix this leak here. And then we have the 5-inch gun, which is going to target the last 2 planes here. So 1, 2. And that is the end of that turn, I believe. Very good. So this is going to be my last turn now with no attack. We're going to go ahead and use a red die. And we're going to go ahead and lock one of my D10s to a 4 using the magazine and ammunition compartment. You can do that on both sides since the magazine and ammunition compartment is on both sides. Remove the red die from the rising sun, indicating we have used a clear sky cell, and that is the last one we can use this game. And let's roll my D10 and the red one. And really hoping now to get in some hits on the last chance we have now before we will be attacked every turn. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. We have 4 hits so far. Last reroll. Okay, so we have a pretty good deal here. Okay, so the 3 is ignored. We have no active leak. The 4s are gonna do some damage now. So they'll take down this plane. And then they'll also take down the next one. Since there's 3 hits. And then we have the 5-inch gun. And the 5-inch gun is gonna go ahead and fire at these 2 guys. So 1, 2. So he's effectively taken down. So we only have 2 planes now remaining. And the 8 is ignored, as you know. Okay, so next turn, we're going to go ahead and lock one of our dice to a 4. And then we're going to go ahead and lock one of our dice to a 1. And that means this is going to be the last attack. It's going to be on the left side, it's going to be a leak. And it's going to hit compartment number 6, which is the crew quarters. So the leak goes here. And we'll mark that off the plane. The penalty is that one of my D10s are lost this turn, which is fine by me, because that means they can't hurt me. And we're going to roll our remaining 3 D10. And we get a 6 and a 3. That's fine by me. We want to get rid of that 9. Turns into a 2. That's also fine by me. The 1 I'm going to go ahead and turn into the AA. Hose is wasted. The wrench is used to fix the leak in the crew quarters. The AA, 2 of them, is used to fire at the last plane. Only actually needed 1. And that effectively takes out the last plane and ends the game. It lands, nothing happens. End of the turn, and we have successfully defended the USS Laffey against all of these kamikaze attacks. And you can see compared to playing on the ensign level or the lieutenant level, variation level, I've taken quite a bit of damage. I was getting worried about the stern as well as the magazine and ammunition compartment here on the left side of the ship. And that is USS Laffey, the game that I cannot get enough of. And I think this is the preferred variant for me. I think it's pretty fun. The captain level variation is pretty hard, so that is the one that we're gonna play next time, and that is actually gonna be the last video I do on this game, since that is also the last variation of this game. Okay guys, thank you for joining me on this quest of defending the USS Laffey, and once again we were successful. It doesn't happen too often that I win in the games that I play, so very happy about that. Thank you for watching. Please like the video, comment and subscribe, and see you next time.